Hi guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Shure RMCE-BT2. Now this is an accessory, a cable. It's not an earphone or anything. It's an accessory which essentially turns any earphone with an MMCX connector, such as the Shure 425s over here, into a Bluetooth earphones. Now why this is cool, because I'm very much intrigued to see what Bluetooth differs in terms of a level playing field versus a wired alternative. I requested Shure to send me this cable, which is another default Shure cable, in order to compare it like for like. In case you're wondering, I have a OnePlus 5T which has a 3.5mm jack, yes, take note people, and Bluetooth aptX HD capabilities via Bluetooth, which means I could really compare this sort of combo fairly. I'm not using a different DAC, I'm using the same built-in DAC that's found in my phone, and I'm comparing the same earphones with the same music, be it at a really low quality, such as the Bobby Valentino Tell Me at 41.1 kilohertz at 204 kilobytes per second, which is absolutely terrible, but nevertheless, you're using lower quality music to higher quality music that you'd find on Tidal and Amazon Music. So with that out of the way, how much do these cost? Well, it's not cheap, to say the least. It's £140 in the UK and $150 in the US. Put into perspective, the earphones that you can see in front of you right here that were sent out by Shure cost £180, so it's not far off the asking price of the earphones altogether. So it is very expensive, and therefore it's going to be up for a lot of criticism. Now, this is also the revision 2, which is over the revision 1. It adds 2 hours of extra battery life, has aptX HD and AAC capabilities. It's Bluetooth 5.0 and also has a built-in amplifier. At least that's what Shure told me, at least the PR, what they told me. Now in terms of design, I can't say I'm a massive fan, and the reason why is because of this little thing. Now this should sit by your shirt, and unfortunately when it was sitting by my shirt, I felt that the cable was kind of hanging around on the left or right hand side of my ears, kind of awkwardly. Alternatively, when I try to put this in my blazer pocket or in the front of my shirt, then as in the front pocket of my shirt or my blazer, it wouldn't fit because it wasn't long enough. So it was kind of like an awkward sort of length, which meant that I just had to dangle in front of me on my chest or behind me on my back. And at this point it was adding extra weight to my ears, and not to say it was uncomfortable, it just added extra weight that it's not really needed for me when I'm using them. And this is not the only design I've come across of Bluetooth earphones that have this sort of design. Now the earphones themselves have a cable kinch, which is pretty stiff, but adds, just means it's a little bit, it's not going to tangle as easy. The cable itself doesn't tangle super easily either, which is great to see. It also doesn't have any microphonics, which again is great, but given the short cable and over-the-ear design, it's to be expected. You've got a 3-button remote with an inline mic, which is great for making calls and changing music and adjusting volume. And then you've got a memory wire cable which goes around your ear. Personally, not a fan of this one. And even Shure's wired cable variant, it was just awkward. Whilst it was in, it's fine, but placing them in your ear, so rolling the tip and then putting them in your ear and then having this cable adjusted each time just really annoyed me. In comparison to ones that I'm usually accustomed to, it really didn't compare to other earphones that I've come across. So anyway, just that's on a side, something I should note. Now what you're here really for is the sound quality comparisons. So as I mentioned, I try to make it as a level playing field as possible, and therefore take my opinion based on the fact that I'm using on a level playing field. And you might be wondering, well, why didn't you use a DAC or something like this, like an external DAC? Well, simply because I wanted to make it a level playing field. I'm comparing not the sound quality of the earphone, I'm comparing the sound quality of the technology. Bluetooth aptX HD versus wired alternative. Which one do I prefer? Wild? Oh god, wild and wired alternative. Reason why is because the sound was just a little fuller. Soundstage wasn't as closed, and it felt that the music had more sort of clarity and more sort of spaciousness, and which is something that I noticed pretty much instantaneously when I was plugging into Bluetooth. And it wasn't to do with, you know, oh, you're biased, or you prefer wired over Bluetooth. Absolutely not. It's just simply based on my ears, that what I picked up in terms of this. I've absolutely nothing to gain to tell you one is better than the other. I'm just telling you in terms of my personal subjective opinion. Wired alternative produced a better sound, a fuller sound, and one that kept me more engaged than its Bluetooth alternative. Don't get me wrong, the Bluetooth alternative was fantastic. aptX-HD transmits at a very high quality, which is fantastic, but not in comparison to LDAC, which LDAC would be much better quality, but unfortunately I understand that not every device has LDAC capabilities, so therefore you're not gonna benefit it on all devices. aptX-HD is an aptX is more widely known, and therefore I can see why Shure have used it, but it's not the highest quality transmission you can get over Bluetooth. Long story short, all I'm trying to say over here is that for me, there were sound quality differences between the two, and even though I was using the same earphone, using the same DAC, as in the one on the chipset that's found on my phone, which is the Snapdragon 835 processor by Qualcomm, I felt that the wired alternative produced a better sound. Now, in terms of versatility, of course, the Bluetooth alternative was just a little bit freer. I was a little bit freer on the go. I didn't have to have my phone in my pocket. I could leave my phone at my desk, walk around to the kitchen, and have my earphones connected, which is great. Or I didn't have a cable dangling out, plugged in at the bottom of my phone. But to me, that wasn't its, you know, really true selling point, because I don't really mind that. But I can understand why people would mind that and therefore would like to invest into it. However, here comes another kicker. Why on earth would you want a Bluetooth solution? Now, at £140, it's not a cheap solution. And better still, why would you want Bluetooth on earphones that are going to cost a lot of money? Now, Shure advertise it as a way of upgrading your flagship earphones that are MMCX connector to Bluetooth. Now, bear in mind the two earphones I've got in front of me do not have an MMCX connector. They have a 2-pin connector, but like, let's say the Western W80s that I previously reviewed have an MMC connector and therefore could potentially benefit from that. If I have wired earphones, and by the way, this is £1,200 Hi-Fi Man RE2000s, which to me are the best universal earphones I've ever come across. Then I've got my custom Peers SH2s, which I absolutely love for their sort of fun sound signature. These two are never ever going to be plugged in directly to my phone. They're going to be plugged in to my my amplifier, or they're going to be plugged in when I'm at home to my DAC. They're not ever going to be plugged in directly to my phone. And therefore, if I'm going to be using a DAC, it kind of defeats the point of having Bluetooth altogether. Then comes to the point that, well, if I'm losing quality over Bluetooth as well, then I'm investing on very expensive earphones and then kind of reducing their potential by going via Bluetooth, because I'm losing that sort of extra soundstage and that extra clarity that I got via wired. So what I'm trying to say over here is that I don't really see the point. And at £140, it's not cheap. It's not like I can say I've got £100 or £200 earphones, I wanted wireless ones, boom, there you go. To me, it's almost like, you know, let's say it's completely different market, but let's say the mod mic that I've got over here, why would you buy a headset when you can buy audiophile grade headphones, plug in a microphone, and then suddenly you've got a great headset? This is the same sort of idea, and I think Shure is kind of on the same sort of field, or Shure were on it before, I don't know. They had this sort of idea of, you have great earphones, turn them into Bluetooth ones, that's where the market trend is going to. And I get that, but not quite, because it's a £140 accessory, which to me is too expensive. If these were £40 or £30, then I'll be like, absolutely. If you have 150 odd pound earphones or 200 pound earphones, like the ones that you can see in front of you, and you know, you don't want to buy new earphones and you love the sound of them, you don't mind compromising a little bit on quality and don't mind spending a little bit extra for Bluetooth, boom, there you go, that's what you're going to get. But in this case, I just think it's too expensive. £140 for basically what you could only presume is an accessory is too expensive for me. So there we go, guys. That's been my honest review. I'm not paid or biased of any sort. I'm completely independent and do this for fun. I literally got this in because I was very much curious to see what are the differences. If you like this review, make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And more than anything, let me know if it's something that you'd ever buy or at its price. All right, guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care and bye-bye.